So PSP, that's what we're on about today.
Yes. My favorite console of all time. I'm not sure if I sent you the picture before, but I keep my original Model 2000 in a picture frame.
I see it in the background of your videos. It is
Yes.
quite the sight.
I'm not sure if you saw it, but in my first memories video, I talk about why it's in a picture frame, and it's because I played that thing for so many hours when I was a kid that by 2019, the little plastic on the disc tray to hold it closed wore down, and it was slightly open all the time. So whenever I'd be playing something, it would ask, "Would you like to exit to the main menu?" So I had to play with a clamp on it before I replaced it with a Model 1000.
That's
The one with the switch that holds the tray closed.
yeah, that's great. The PSP, it always had little quirks like that. I remember one of my first videos I done on YouTube, and actually it kind of blew up. It got a lot of views. Was opening up the PSP and just cleaning it out the dirt in it, so to stop like the buttons from sticking.
Ah,
And I remember one of the comments on that video was a guy commenting saying there was someone saying, "Do you ever shut up?" And then a guy replied to him going, "You STFU. This guy's gonna work at Apple or something. He's gonna be a millionaire." And I was like, I didn't quite make it that far, but I appreciate it.
no. No, see, I would to that first guy, I would have responded, "He's Irish. Of course he doesn't. But you asking him to shut up is being hateful." Some bullshit like that.
But
It's like,
yeah, no, the PSP is it's up there with my favorite
oh yeah.
consoles of all hand, whatever the fuck. We're not going to get into specifics of what you call it, but yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I can I consider handhelds to be consoles as well. I think the cutoff when it comes to like specific consoles is like I don't count a PC as a console, but I do count it as a platform, and I don't count mobile as a console, but it does count as a platform. So that's kind of my
Yeah,
logic.
I guess my logic would be, as long as you don't have to tinker with the game, then you can consider it a console.
Mm.
A PC, I would agree, it's a platform because you're not guaranteed to fucking. If you blew up a game on a PC, you're not guaranteed it's gonna fucking work. Um,
Yep.
which I mean, you can say the same for some games on consoles, but the vast majority of games on consoles, you put it in and you play it.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I want to start this off with a story. I don't know if I've ever told it before, but when I got
Go for it.
my first PSP, I got the PSP firstly as a stupid whatever-year-old I was, because I thought I could play PS2 games, and I was excited about the fact of playing Jack on the bus.
Mm.
Of course that didn't happen. That wasn't what it
I mean,
was.
I I mean, you
Sorry.
technically were able to play a Jack game on the go
Eventually, yeah,
with
with Dexter and Lost Frontier, yeah. Um,
that second one doesn't exist.
the one that shall not be named. Um,
Yes.
but I do remember. I
But
remember,
Daxter.
and Daxter's awesome. Yeah, not a bad word to say about
Oh,
Daxter.
okay. Spoiler alert for my next video. It's actually I kind of hope that you might do a response to this one. It's my gaming regrets, and the number one regret I have is not playing Daxter when I got my PSP. I was 13 years old. Like okay again. I say this in the video, but I saw the screenshot on the back of Daxter dressed as Neo from The Matrix. And I also saw in a Game Informer magazine, like his big bearded form, like a Viking sort of thing. Nowadays, I know that those are from like the Dream Sequence mini games. But when I saw those as a kid, I thought that looked really stupid, and Jack and Daxter doesn't need movie parodies. So I skipped out on it. And then by the time I played Daxter for the first time back in 2019, I swear every 2 minutes I would do something in the game or come across a background detail in the game that would cause me to stop, stare off into space, and think about how much I want to punch my 13-year-old self for not playing it sooner.
Dude, I cannot believe you robbed yourself of that experience. That's
I
crazy.
know. Ugh.
That's honestly tragic. Um,
Yes.
yeah, no, I remember the first time I played Daxter. It was in the back of my mother's friend's car, and I was friends with her son. and he had that. He's actually the friend that got me into Jack and Dexter.
Really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
He was like 4 years older than me. I know I was when I with older people,
Ah.
but yeah, he was playing Dexter on his PSP, and I was just mesmerized by what I was seeing. I was, oh man, good memories, good memories. And every time I think, speaking of Dexter, my happy place, whenever like I'm worried or anxious or something, my happy place for some reason I always think of is like the meadow level in Dexter where you ride the Zoomer. I always think of
Oh
that for some
yeah.
reason, and I've no idea why. I don't know why that subliminally is like a place I feel safe in.
I mean, it's kind of like the precursor forest from actually both the first and second game. So it is just a relaxing area, especially when like after you've cleared it out, like you got rid of the bugs and you're supposed to go back to the the loading zone, and it's like if you just stick around, it's really relaxing just to look at.
Hmm, absolutely. Um, Continuing my story though from the first PSP I owned. When we moved house, I remember I like clutched onto it, as like my kind of safety net, and then it just went missing randomly one day,
Oof.
and it was missing for months on end, and then I was looking for something. And you should never do this, boys and girls, right? You should never do this. But I went looking in my sister's drawers, right?
Oh, I think you mentioned this before.
Yeah, and whatever, and I somehow ended up in a drawer I wasn't meant to be in. I found a PSP. I was ecstatic. I I turned it on, and it was the screen was completely smashed. And it turns out
Oh,
my sister dropped the PSP on the fireplace, panicked, and hid it in her knicker drawer for months.
ugh.
So that was the tragic death of my first PSP, unfortunately.
See, I can't really relate to that because I'm the younger sibling, so I'd probably be the one to make that mistake. Although it is funny, the reason I even got my PSP, again, I mentioned this in my first memories video. I got a DS Lite to try and play the new Pokemon games when those were coming out, because my elementary school had like these big posters and promotional bookmarks in the library for Diamond and Pearl, and so I got a DS and I was waiting for Pokemon to release, but then a few months later, my brother wanted to get an Xbox 360 and just decided that because I was waiting for a game, I wasn't using my DS all that much, and so, "Hey, why don't you throw it on the pile? Help me pay for the 360." Yeah. No, like, yeah, it was stupid that I just decided I did like, sure, like, especially now that a lot of DS games are stupid expensive, but I don't regret, getting the PSP, a few years later because it is just a great system, and, I have a lot of memories with it. What I do this is gonna be in my next video about, my regrets. I do regret not taking full advantage of the backwards compatibility on my 3DS when I bought that in high school. I could have gotten so many of those DS Pokemon games for stupid cheap back in high school, but no, I waited until I was a stupid adult, and, they were a lot more expensive.
Did you ever get one of those dodgy multi cards for the DS?
No, I don't. I don't go for that. Actually, a friend did send me one of those, and I'm like, this is obviously a fake.
Yeah. No, I bring that up because I remember like everyone around me, like the DS was super popular. Like holy shit, everyone I knew had a DS. But like they were all casual like game, like they weren't into it as we are like. They were just casual
Hmm.
gamers, but every one of them had a fucking one of these like pirated multi cards. They were rampant, and I was like, no wonder Nintendo hates piracy. When when literally all I saw as
It's
a
like
kid was pirated Nintendo games.
it was like it's like the DS was repeating a lot of the same stuff that the NES did, and like good and bad, including the pirated multi carts.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
Actually, it's
Jesus.
funny if you look at my DS. If you look at my DS collection in the background of my videos, it's like you've got like the third party reps on the DS almost mirror exactly the third party reps on on the NES. Like you got Capcom, Konami, Tecmo, and Square, and it's like they actually put out a shit ton of games on the DS.
One thing about Nintendo, I know there's a PSP video. We're going off Nintendo. Fuck it, it's a podcast. But um, and what like one thing that Nintendo, I understand why Nintendo fans always stick by Nintendo because it is that cozy system. Like you can always rely on the same developers to make the same great games, and that's one thing I've always respected about Nintendo. With Sony, being a Sony pony like myself, like just you can't rely on Sony to do that. Like PlayStation,
Sony
are always moving
Sony
on to
changes
other
a lot.
things.
Sony changes a lot of development staff, even within the same studio, and it's really weird. Like uh, going back to the whole PSP thing, it is funny to think about how I don't know if it was formed by or they just joined it, but Ready at Dawn, the guys who made Daxter, as well as the PSP God of War games, and unfortunately the Order 1886, which that game had potential, but I think it was just rushed, which is weird because it wasn't even a launch title, even though it felt like one.
I still need to
But
play it. It looks dope. I think it looks really cool. I think I'd enjoy it.
honestly, I feel like that's the sort of game that's better to play used rather than brand new
Yeah,
because yeah. It's anyway. But Ready at Dawn was joined by a bunch of or even formed by, I don't know the exact details, but a bunch of ex Naughty Dog people, and that's why Daxter feels so authentic to the rest of the series.
absolutely. Yeah, you're correct there, 100%. It's Ready at Dawn is ex Naughty Dog employees, and I don't know if it's ex Insomniac employees.
Mm,
I could be wrong. Hold on, I have no camera on. I can look this up. Look at this. We are in the 21st century, Michael.
yes,
Ready
we are.
at Dawn. Are Ready at Dawn even still around?
I think they were shut down not too long ago.
Composed of former members of Naughty Dog and Blizzard. Whoa,
Blizzard,
okay. Blizzard.
whoa, how seriously? How do you have this much talent? Again, I blame Sony proper for like rushing the Order 1886 because like damn, how do you have this much talent for like Daxter and Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta, and then suddenly like the most bare bones launch title that isn't a launch title PS4 game.
Yeah, I don't know. When Ready at Dawn tweaked during the PSP era, like they were the de facto PSP devs.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anyone was able to get as much out of PSP as they did.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do find it funny that so many people will refer to games on the PSP as spin-offs, even if they're part of major franchises, because it's like for the God of War games specifically, like Chains of Olympus, like it takes place in the middle of God of War 1, right like in the middle of the first cutscene actually, but it just adds a ton to Kratos's motivation, which ultimately goes to show just how tragic the end of that first game is. Like I'm not going to spoil it because like I do think people should play Chains of Olympus, but that final QTE sequence at the end of the game, that
Hmm.
how could a QTE sequence be heartbreaking?
Yeah.
And it was. And then with the Ghost of Sparta, like this again, it just emphasizes how much the gods have fucked with Kratos his entire life. And the story about his long lost brother, he straight up talks about that in God of War Ragnarok. So if a home console game can acknowledge one of the handheld ones, you can't call it a spin-off. Okay, I'm sorry, can I just go on a rant
Oh,
here?
go
I
on.
hate the use of the word I hate the use of the word spin-off because so many people like it's like that line from Princess Bride. You keep on using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Like I see so many people call certain things a spin-off. Like someone once called the freaking Lilo and Stitch cartoon a spin-off. It's like, no, that just continued the story and even ended it with Leroy and Stitch. Like what? And like I said with the God of War games on PSP, like no, those are not spin-offs. Those add to the story. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan, and so many people say so much, like half that franchise are spin-offs, and it's like, no, it continues the story. What are people's definition of spin-offs? Like, because my definition of a spin-off would be stuff like Mario Kart, Mario Party, Metroid Prime Pinball, like even like back to Sony stuff like Little Big Planet karting. I would call that a spin-off because it's not reflecting the core gameplay of the regular titles. Meanwhile, all these other like entries that I've been talking about, like they reflect the core gameplay of their series. So w- why are you calling that a spin? Especially ones that add to the story that actually have importance to it.
Hmm.
Like,
Here's a difficult one. What about Jack X?
oof, Jack X Combat Race.
Gameplay wise,
I
definitely a
would say,
spin off. Story wise, though, there's a debate there.
I would say that because of the racing sequences in the third game, because of the desert stuff, and because a lot of levels in combat racing are in Spargus and the desert and stuff like that. It it's a half spin-off. It was led into properly from the third game, but I could understand people like calling it a spin-off solely because of the drastic gameplay changes.
Hmm. Fair, fair. What were we talking about
But
again?
no,
What brought us on the spin off? Oh, Ready at Dawn. We were talking. Oh, God of War. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm gonna have a hot take here. Chains of Olympus is my favorite God of War game by quite a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest God of War fan. I don't really like the new ones either. I think they're fine games. I really don't get the hype about them. I think Chains of
Mhm.
Olympus was a phenomenal game, and I think it's the best
Right.
God of War game of its era.
Honestly, I think I know one of the reasons you aren't all that into the Norse games, and it's because well, one, the overhype of those games, like people kind of built them up a little too
Hmm.
much, but also it is amusing to see people say, "Oh, Greek Kratos was killing just to kill, and only Norse Kratos was sympathetic." And to that, I say, you only ever played God of War 2 and 3, didn't you? Because one, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta make Kratos incredibly sympathetic, and it's like, to quote Mimir, "From what I heard, the Pantheon had it coming,"
say
and
what
yes, they
say,
absolutely did.
say what you want, but Norse Kratos never gets laid.
I mean, he's got a kid. He can't exactly be making noise. Plus, they sleep in the same room.
Fair.
Although now that Atreus is off on his own adventure and Kratos and Freya are on good terms, have you seen that joke where it's like, "Kratos, you still owe me a son"?
Uh, God damn.
Yeah.
Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn are the goats of the PSP, I would say. Um,
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Like again, I talk about this when I talk about Daxter in my next video, but like something that I'm honestly surprised wasn't done more in the Jack series or really just any platformer with gunplay is mixing the gunplay in with the platforming. Like honestly, like I only just figured this out, but Daxter honestly feels like the Jack and Daxter equivalent of Mario Sunshine, except Flood is actually a gun in this game, like
Hmm.
a flamethrower and a grenade launcher and stuff like that. But it's like you can use the weapon in the platforming to actually like get around, and it's not just combat focused. Like
Yeah,
I've talked about it before, but Daxter is the perfect blend of the gameplay styles of the first two games, and it is glorious.
I agree.
Again, my stupid 13-year-old self would have loved this game.
Yeah, you really robbed yourself of that. I will say,
Yeah.
did you hear recently? There's an interview with someone from Ready at Dawn, and he said that they were actually working on a Daxter 2, but Naughty Dog put a stop to it because at the time they were working on the Lost Frontier, and that broke my fucking heart. I was like, what would a Daxter 2 have looked like?
That would have been amazing. You know what that would you know what I think would have been interesting is like a follow-up to Jack 3 where like af it's like everything's kind of calmed down, but maybe there's stuff going on like underground in the sewers or something like that. Something that only Daxter would be able to explore.
Yeah, yeah. And look, they had experience at that point with the sex mini games in God of War. Daxter Test sex mini game, like we really got the hot coffee. Like that would have been that's what we needed.
I do you still have that meme I made? Because like I can't find it anywhere, but it's like Tess, it's like you and then Taryn from Daxter, the girl he tells you not to worry about, and then Daxter with just wide eyes going, and I'm dead.
Oh goddamn. Just gonna throw out some game names here. Pursuit Force. You familiar with it?
Nope.
Oh, dude, Pursuit Force and its sequel, Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, phenomenal games. Track them down, give them a play. Well worth
Well,
your
actually,
time.
let me walk over to my PSP collection over here.
Yeah, I'm just
Um,
looking at mine here. I'm cheating as well.
um, Another game I would have absolutely loved as a kid, and I wish I played sooner. Ape Escape on the Loose.
Oh hell yes.
It's like I find that game so fascinating because like it's a remaster of the PS1 game, but because the PSP only had one circle pad, you couldn't do that control scheme. But then that just made them use a more standard control scheme. Like I say, it plays a lot like a Zelda game with a manual jump button,
Hmm.
and I honestly think that makes it super important because like for a game like Ape Escape, yeah, it was designed around the gimmicky controls, but in the day and age of people saying control gimmicks or any gimmick whatsoever is a bad thing. It's like, okay, is this game actually fun, or is the control gimmick just propping up the gameplay or distracting us from it? And then you get something like On the Loose, where it's like this is a more standard control scheme, and the core gameplay is just as fun as before. So it works both ways. So I think On the Loose is actually a really important release on top of
Absolutely.
just being an addictive collectathon platformer. I freaking love that game. Again, why did I not play it sooner?
Sticking with Ape Escape though, the first game I ever had on my PSP, I got to bundle in with it was Ape Academy. I,
How what is that like? I've heard it's just the mini games from
it
the console games.
it basically is. It's basically WarioWare but Ape Escape. But
Interesting.
I mean, it's just pure nostalgia talk, and I've just looked it up here and it has terrible reviews. But I loved that
Yeah.
game as a kid. So I should go back and play it maybe. But I'm gonna cautiously recommend that one if you can find it. I'm sure it's not expensive, and it got a
Maybe.
sequel, so it sold well.
Hmm, interesting. Uh, Ratchet and Clank size matters. I know that Zeke talked about how the damage scaling in that game is like really bad, but honestly, like when I played it for the first time, and like I feel like replaying it now anyway. Like I want to go back to it, but it's like it's a Ratchet and Clank game. It's sort of like how in Mega Man, if you're not shooting and jumping at the same time, you're playing it wrong. So it's like if you're not jumping out of the way of everything, what do you even do? Like if you get hit enough times to notice the damage scaling problem, you're playing it wrong.
I'm so conflicted with Size Matters because I I've played it 3 times now. I played it as a kid. I could never really beat it because I was bad at. I still am bad at games. So I mean, I was bad at games. I played it a second time when I was older, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing, especially on the PSP. Then I replayed it when they released it on the PS5, and I hated it. I was like, this is like Zeke was right. Like this damage scaling is absolute manic in it. It's terrible. Maybe it deserves another replay to be honest, to really form
Yeah,
a full opinion on it.
yeah, yeah. I'm planning on playing that pretty soon. I'm in the middle of something else right now, but yeah, I want to replay that just because. Again, I did notice that I noticed a few problems with it. I'm not one of those people that think that if I like a game, I can't notice any problems with it, or vice versa. If I notice problems with the game, I can't like it. Like, no, I'll be fair about it, but I'm not going to hold that much against a game, especially if I enjoy it. But it's like okay, here are some of the problems I have with size matters. One, I think, yeah, the damage scaling is quite obvious, but again, if you're not jumping all the time, you're playing it wrong. Um, then like leveling up your health. Like I think Size Matters is most comparable to Going Commando, the second game. But the difference is what. Well, actually, it is funny because the leveling up your health and weapons in Size Matters is a lot easier than in Going Commando, but it also maxes out your health a lot lower than in Going Commando. Like I
Hmm.
think it only maxes out at like 50. But
Yeah.
then you max out weapons at level 3 instead of level 2 in Going Commando. Plus, I think the shield is much more useful in Size Matters than Going Commando. I swear that shield never lasted much when I played Going Commando.
You gotta upgrade it. It's been a while since I played Ratchet 2. I do know, I know that shield though was one of my ride or dies. Like I didn't go on a planet without that shield once I have it. Um,
Oh no, I mean I used the shield. It's just it didn't last that long, whereas the shield in Size Matters was a bit more substantial. And I did level up the shield, but again, in it's weird how it's like you have the ability to level up your weapons in Going Commando, but you only have one extra level on it. It's like,
yeah.
what was even the point? Where
It,
like I like the much larger amount, not large. What am I trying to say? I like how you can level up your weapons more in the later games
I
instead of just by one.
I always say that Ratchet 3 got perfect. The leveling system in that game
Yes.
was perfect to me, and then afterwards they kind of tried different things with like the retaining and stuff, which I liked, but it also took the impact away from the upgrades. So I was like, no, three they had it perfect for me.
Yeah. No, I like 3 a lot, but I would actually say I showed you how I would rank the Ratchet games, didn't I?
Um, I don't remember.
Okay, basically it goes number 1, I kind of lump together Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and A Crack in Time because they all tell one cohesive story. That's actually something I kind of like the differences between Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter. Jack and Daxter tells one ongoing story, whereas Ratchet and Clank felt like a bunch more like just random stories about these characters in this universe, but then those 3 told one overarching storyline.
Hmm.
So it goes Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and A Crack in Time at number 1. Number 2 is Into the Nexus. Um, Number 3, I'm flip flopping back and forth between Up Your Arsenal and Deadlocked because both those are really good and for different reasons.
Yeah, me and Nick, we came to the conclusion that Deadlocked is the best Ratchet game in our ranking when we ranked them in our
Mm.
tier list video. And I honestly I cannot knock Deadlocked. I cannot think of anything wrong with that game. That's why we had to leave it there. It's just such a
I mean, you
banger.
said that Ghost. You said in the comment that Ghost Station does crash more
Mm.
often than not. I just thought it was the copy that I owned as a kid
No,
because
I
the
do
one I
remember a
got
Ghost Station crash, and that is correct.
I do have I did get a copy of Deadlocked a few years ago and played through it, and Ghost Station did not crash on me, so I finally was able to beat the damn thing.
Nice.
But then after either of those two, again, I can't decide where either one would go in my ranking. But after 3 and Deadlocked is Size Matters,
Okay.
and then 2, and then 1. Honestly, I feel like 1 is the weakest solely because like there's no lock on, there's no strafing, and I get it that they were basing it off of old game design with like 3 hits and you're dead, but like in a combat focused platformer, like having a simple 3 hit system is very detrimental. Like it's why stuff like Mega Man has the health bar even way
Hmm.
back in the NES games.
Ratchet 1 to me is like the last game of the Wild West era of game design, as I like to call it. Whereas they were
Mm,
still kind of figuring out, okay, what works, what is this we're making, and then like the
mm,
PS2 eras where 3D games anyway really came into their own, and where the art kind of got perfected. Um, and Ratchet 1 is kind of like the last semblance of trying to get used to making 3D games.
That makes sense.
But no, that's an interesting list. Um, let's
But
see what games do I have here. I said for food. I have Lumens or how do you pronounce it? Lumens on my shelf.
I don't know.
I've never played it, so that's something I need to play.
I think that's a rhythm game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I have the GTA games. GTA in the palm of your hand at the time, fucking mind blowing, and they're great games, both of them. And Chinatown Wars is
Yeah, I
released
was.
on PSP as well.
Hmm. I was actually interested in the GTA stories game. Like I've never really been much for the GTA series, but I do kind of want to check them out eventually. But I'm at a toss up between whether or not I want to start with the stories games or get just like the Gen 6 trilogy on Xbox.
Hmm.
Because like I've seen several game stores have like three Vice City and San Andreas like bundled together on the original Xbox, and it's like, well, can't say no to that deal.
Yeah, no, I'd go for it. I would go for that. One thing about the PSP that I really liked that hasn't really been done since is that it kind of got full-fledged ports of PS2 games that the only difference between them were they were graphically downgraded, but other than that, the games were fully intact. And like,
Uh, that's that's debatable because like actually I will say that another rant here. So Scott the Waz posted a video to Scott Stash where it's like, I really wanted a PSP when I was a kid, and I have not watched that solely because I saw that title and I was like, press X to doubt. Because this dude, I love Scott the Waz, but man, some of the stuff he says about not just the PSP but PlayStation consoles in general is like that is objectively wrong. Like one of the dumbest examples of like because he'll talk about how oh the PSP was advertised as a PS2 on the go, but oh the PS2 can't do that. Or the PSP can't do that. And his go-to example was comparing the PS2 Killzone game to Killzone Liberation on the PSP. I'm like, that is not attempting to be the PS2 game. That is not a port of the PS2 game. It's not even trying to emulate the PS2 game. It's its own thing. And from what I've looked into, it's a an in between story between the first two games. And like, even if he wanted to make that comparison, like using a shooter franchise, there was Resistance Retribution, which I still want to play that, but from what I've looked into, the PSP game actually is really, really good, even though
yeah,
it's a third person shooter and not a first person shooter. But
um,
there are many other examples of the PSP can't do what the PS2 can. Like if his examples were like the Tomb Raider games or the Prince of Persia games, that would make sense. But actually then there's the
they were ported to
there's
PSP,
an
dude, and I played those ports, and they were at the time they were perfect for me.
uh I've seen gameplay of the PSP ports of Tomb Raider and Prince of Persia, and the problem was frame rate. Like
Frame rate, yeah.
I'm not a graphic snob by any means, but sometimes if the frame rate is so obviously chugging along, then yeah, that is a problem. But actually, counter argument to the PSP can't do what the PS2 can. Looking at my collection here, Monster Hunter, and I was just playing that not too long ago. But man, Monster Hunter is a time commitment. I had to put that on the back burner for a while. But it's like the first Monster Hunter on PSP is just straight up the PS2 game, but
Yep.
with all the extra content that was originally Japan only. It looks the same, plays the same. Uh, it looks the same, runs the same, has a more standard control scheme, kind of like with Ape Escape. And because it's on a handheld, the multiplayer is intact. Like you can still sync up your PSP with another PSP and play that way. Like you don't need to go online with anything.
Not another example of actually there's one example of a PSP game that actually has more in it than the PS2 version, and that's Mortal Kombat Unchained. It's basically Deception ported to PSP, but it actually has more content in it. which is insane because Deception had a stupid amount of content for a fighting game.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and the
How does it
Tekken,
how does it run in comparison?
oh, I haven't played it since I was a kid, so I wouldn't have noticed. I presume they would have nerfed it to 30, which is horrible for a fighting game. And today I'd be a snob about it, but back then I honestly I didn't notice. I couldn't tell you. It looked it looked bad at the time. I do remember it looking much worse, but fuck, I have Mortal Kombat in my hands. I don't give a shit. Um, and then the Tekken games, Tekken on Jane, no Tekken, I forget what it was called. Tekken Dark Resurrection, which was the Tekken 5
Dark
port.
that was I think that's one of Cat Icarus's favorite Tekken games.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like it's so I prefer to play Dark Resurrection to Tekken 5 sometimes. It's that good.
Wow. Um, oh, the Metal Gear games and Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Like Bloodlines actually got me interested in the Assassin's Creed franchise, and like I get it, it's a lot smaller in comparison to the PS3 and 360 games. But after years of people complaining about unnecessary gameplay additions to the Assassin's Creed formula, playing an extremely like simple sandbox stealth game was very interesting, and it did
Hmm.
get me to want to play the others.
Yeah. We cannot go without mentioning Ridge Racer and the plethora of PSP to this day still has some of the best PS1 emulation we've ever seen, which is insane to me.
Mm. I have heard some weird things about the medieval remaster on PSP from although the most of what I've heard is that it's the art style getting kind of washed out and stripped down compared to the PS1 game and weird hitboxes, but I don't know. I've never played it myself. I've never even played the original.
Yeah, I haven't either. I can't um I can't confirm nor deny that.
Hmm.
We
All
had
right. What?
we had oh, did you ever watch movies on your PSP?
No.
You never got those weird UMD movies?
No, I had never watched movies on the PSP. I just play I just played Kingdom Hearts and God of War back to back to back to back to back.
You still ate very well. Yeah, I'd never
Yes.
recommend buying a movie on a PSP. What a horrible way to watch a movie. But back in the day, that was a that kind of hit. That was like, you know what? I'm watching fucking The Matrix 2 in bed. You know, that was kind of cool.
I do find it funny like and actually this is an opinion of Scott's that I agree with wholeheartedly is that the DS and the PSP were essentially trying to like they were laying the groundwork for what eventually smartphones would be. Like the
Mm,
DS had all those like personal trainer and brain training software. It's like you've got like the pedometer to like measure your working out, um, personal trainer cooking. It's like 100 classic books, and then the PSP had movies and like a TV tuner, and I think some people have even gotten the old GPS function to work.
crazy.
It's like it's like in 2004, Nintendo and Sony were both laying the groundwork for what Apple would eventually do later.
And Apple just copied Sony and Nintendo collectively,
Basically.
basically. Bring back to simpler
Uh,
times, because as you've said this, and it's always resonated with me. You've said this once. I don't even think you remember saying it. Smartphones were a mistake, and that has stuck with me.
yeah, yeah.
That's I don't know
Okay.
if you even still believe in that, but it's absolutely stuck with me.
I I sort of half believe the whole smartphone. Like I do think that a lot of the functionality of smartphones has kind of gotten out of hand, especially and with all the it's like a new phone every year. It's like
Hmm.
this is getting ridiculous. And I've even made a comment to my brother because my niece is going to be born in about a month or even
Nice.
less than that.
Congrats.
And I've told him it's like, hey, I if I see my niece playing on a smartphone or a tablet, and I just toss my own phone onto my bed, like just pretend to yeet it, and then grabbed my Game Boy Advance, and it's like she's getting one of these when she's 5. I'm gonna be cool retro uncle.
I like it.
But then he did point out something very like like legitimate. It's like he needs something on her that has a GPS so that in case something happens, it's like need to know where she is. And I'm like, okay, I can't fault you for that.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Give her a DS.
Now that's coming later. Like I'm gonna start her off very simple. Mario Bros. Deluxe from Game Boy Color, and literally any Tetris game that can be played on the GBA.
You should give her yeah, you should give her a, oh, what the fuck am I thinking of here? What was that? Yeah, the 3DS at GPS. Give her a 3DS. I just need the phone.
Here's the thing. I don't know how you'd be able to track the 3DS though.
Give her a Vita. There you go. No excuses.
Speaking of the Vita, like I know a lot of people complain about the Vita's proprietary memory cards, but did you know why Sony switched to that? Obviously, there is the whole, oh, we could sell more product that way.
Money.
But you know the other reason? Do you know the other reason they switched to a proprietary format?
Enlighten me.
So the PSP used the same memory sticks that a lot of digital cameras did, mainly the Sony branded ones, but similar to the Blu-ray format, they became the popular choice. So Sony shared the patent. So the memory sticks for the PSP also worked on digital cameras. So this one kid bought a used PSP from a GameStop, and they didn't wipe the memory stick, so he found someone's sex tape on it.
I love it. I love it.
You know what's even funnier? This isn't that, that was only the first time it happened. Second time was with the 3DS and a regular SD card.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
um, Dude,
So they switched to a proprietary
that's
they switched to a
crazy.
proprietary memory card.
That's
Yeah,
crazy to think of in this day and age. Because you go in and buy a secondhand phone, you better hope that thing's fucking wiped, or you're seeing everyone's nudes. Ay, Jesus Christ. Um, but
yep.
it's oh, wild times, wild times. Let's go back to the PSP times because I'm getting sad thinking about modern times.
Oh yeah.
What?
Looking at my collection again.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. I wouldn't blame anyone for not liking this game, but I honestly found it a ton of fun. Sonic Rivals. It's a perfect little junk food game, and almost like Sonic's 6-year early response to Mario 3D Land. Like you know how Mario 3D Land basically took the 2D level design and put it in a 3D space. Rivals took Sonic's 3D level design and put it in a 2D space, and it's a lot of fun to just blast through in like an hour. Like it's a game you could almost play once a day and be perfectly fine to do anything else that day
I have
because
a
it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
It is really short, but it's also a lot of fun.
I have a that just unlocked a really strange memory for me. I think I've played it, and I didn't
Really
know until you just mentioned it there and explained it like that I have played it. But that sounds very
nice.
familiar to me. Yeah.
Actually, what's funny is like if you look at the back of Sonic Rivals, it is one of the games that released in 2006, so it was part of the 15th anniversary. And then you compare it to stuff like Sonic Genesis on the GBA and Sonic 06 on PS3 and 360, and it's like, wow, Rivals was actually the best Sonic game released for the 15th anniversary.
I like it. It's a PS2 port, but I remember playing it primarily on the PSP. Marvel Nemesis.
Nemesis.
It's basically a Marvel Smash, except Smash in the 3D fighting game space.
I look.
Yeah, look it up there. I loved that. I played the crap out of that when I was young.
That that box art looks familiar, but I don't think I've ever seen any gameplay of it.
PS2 version's probably better, but I primarily remember it on PSP and loving it.
Well, I mean, when it comes to Gen 6 multiplats, I tend to gravitate to the original Xbox, especially because it's not like the PS2 and GameCube weren't lacking in exclusive content.
Fair, that's very true. Um, oh, race and Need for Speed games were peak on the PSP, and they were the best ways to play them because racing games are just easier to play on the go. I find I get
Hmm.
bored too easily when I'm at home playing racing games, but on the go, it's much easier to just stick it on and have a race or two.
Makes sense. Uh, oh, the PSP was also when we first officially got a translation of Castlevania Rondo of Blood.
Nice.
Kind of, I'm looking at my collection. Kind of going back to Sega for a bit, not just Sonic, but Sega was actually very well represented on the PSP because you got Sonic Rivals 1 and 2, Fantasy Star Portable 1 and 2, which I have not played either of those yet, but I'm looking forward to just because I like playing RPGs on handhelds, especially ones that could be played in co-op. Just because like if you have a game that can last hundreds of hours and you could play it with friends and it's really convenient to play with friends, it's like that just sounds like a perfect evening to me. Like
Yeah.
just order some pizza and boot up a co-op RPG. But also, and I mentioned this in one of my videos, but Valkyria Chronicles, how 1 and 2, like that's why I got Valkyria Chronicles 1 on PS3 because 2 is exclusive to PSP, and the box art lines up perfectly, like extremely like aesthetically pleasing.
Um, I'm done shouting out games. I think there's a few things that you don't. Do you have any other games you wanna shout out there, Michael? Because I have an idea for
Um,
what to do after this segment.
I did get two PAL imports. Tales of Eternia, which is basically Tales of Destiny 2 from the PS1, except a fuck ton less expensive, and White Knight Chronicles Origins, which is I did a whole video about the White Knight Chronicles series, and it, seriously, if you haven't played any of them yet, especially the PS3 games, I highly recommend it. The PSP game is pretty good, but definitely more of a definitely more of a chip away and have fun on the go, like on the go or on a trip or
Yeah.
if there's nothing else to type of game. But it's still a lot of fun. PS3 games are better though.
One thing I loved about the PSP is how you could modify it like to look however you wanted it. Um, like with the wallpapers and stuff, and like the
Oh,
wallpapers people would make were insane.
oh yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I never downloaded any because I don't think I was ever able to get my PSP to go online for anything. But I think from the default wallpapers, the think it was like the orange, yellow, and navy blue background. Like that was one of the default ones, and that was on my PSP for basically all of middle school and high school. But then when I replaced my PSP, um, it kind of fucked with the like the calendar. So it's like, oh, we'll just change your background every time you turn the game on.
Oh god. I know I rocked some crazy ass fucking wallpapers. I had so many installed. The whole thing was bloated with crap. Honestly, a load of random pictures. Um, and like just memes before memes were memes. Just like those viral internet images that went around. Um, where were just like fucking scattered on my PSP.
The dude, I've kind of been going back to a lot of the I've been watching a lot of old countdown videos. Remember when those dominated?
Oh, it's the
What?
screw the
What?
screw attack countdowns.
No, not screwed. like the independent channels, like well, now he's a bit more like bigger, but stuff like Rabid Luigi.
It rings a bell. The name definitely rings a bell.
Mm. But I've been watching a lot of old stuff like that, and kind of playing older games like that, and old memes like the hand drawn troll face, or the
Yes.
one where the dude's brain explodes out of his head with a jetpack.
uh, bring me back.
I have actually been going back a lot to like I said, I'm probably going to be replaying Daxter and Size Matters at like pretty soon. Like right now, the console I have plugged in is my Wii U because I'm a little worried about that
Oh,
report
yeah.
that Wii U's are failing. Although one of the stores that I go to on a regular basis says that that part is easy enough to replace. So we'll see about that. But I'm just keeping it plugged in to avoid the problem altogether.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot I'll be playing like regularly, but then that just then that just makes me like want to look back at the my backlog. It's like, okay, I can play on my PSP, play my Vita, and play my 3DS and all that stuff. I'm just kind of looking back at um a lot of stuff, and it's like, yeah, I all right, I'm just kind of coasting along now. I mean, it's not like I don't have a fuck ton to play.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said. We have an endless amount of games we can play that'll keep us going until we die, basically. So even if nothing is ever released again,
Basically, yeah.
we'll be fine. Um, which is great to know.
Hmm.
PSP talk, and look, it's topical at the minute. Sony are basically confirmed to be working on a successor to the Vita, successor to the PSP. Um, what
Is
what are your hopes?
I remember when they announced the Portal, and everyone was saying that it was supposed to be a follow up to the Vita.
Yeah, no, what it's not the port. It's something completely different to the Portal. It's basically it's from the reports. It's going to be basically a PS6 portable. So you're going to be able to play your PS6 games on it. So what I originally thought the PSP was.
mm, here's here's the thing though, like the Portal as a concept is cool, but it's essentially just Sony's Wii U gamepad where
Yeah.
you need to have the PS5 on, or at least in sleep mode, to actually play anything on it.
And it's worse though, because at least with the Wii U gamepad, you didn't need to be connected to the fucking internet for it to work.
Yeah.
And also, it's worse because you can do it on literally any device with a screen. You don't need to pay shill out however fucking much it costs. What is it, 300 quid to play it? Like to do that? I mean, it's ridiculous. So,
I
talk about
am
smartphones being a mistake. You
I
can
am
do it on your
dreading,
smartphone.
although like, and actually that was another thing Scott pointed out when it comes to like game streaming or cloud gaming. It's like, yeah, you can sync up PlayStation Now with your smartphone and play any more convenient than just playing on a handheld. I am dreading the all digital future.
Yeah, well, when the all digital future does become a reality, that's when I'm drawing the line. I think I'm if I can't own my games, I'm not gonna support the industry anymore. Maybe I'll pirate stuff, but I'm not gonna fucking spend eight. I'm not gonna spend 175 fucking quid on a game, which it probably is gonna be by then. That I don't even fucking own. So good luck to you.
I mean, for crying out loud, $110 for the Last of Us collection.
It's crazy. It's insane. This could be a whole other topic,
It's
but yeah, no, it's
oh yeah.
crazy. Um,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, maybe it's me getting
but
older and grumpier, but I'm getting more and more jaded with the industry. Yeah, exactly.
see, here's the funny thing about that. Like, I'm getting jaded with a lot, even when there are still games that I want to play. Like, I am very hesitant about the Switch 2, but stuff like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment looks amazing.
Mm.
And then like I'm gonna want to play Kingdom Hearts 4 whenever that gets finished. But it's like And like Sonic Frontiers, like I have that on Steam because it's the only platform that I'd actually be able to play the completed game on. Actually, it is funny. I mentioned this in another video where it's like Sonic Frontiers looked amazing when they announced it and released it, and I'm like, okay, I'll save up to buy a PS5 so I can play that. But then throughout 2023, they were releasing free DLC after free DLC, and it wasn't just like little things; it was a lot more meaty content. And it's like, well, now a physical copy is basically half the game.
Drives me soft.
And it's like I want to be mad, but how can I be? But it's like how can I be mad when all that stuff was free?
That's very fair. That is very fair. If it was free, fine. The thing that I hate about it is when they do all these paid updates and DLC and stuff, and the game is half the game, and then they don't release like a Game of the Year edition or
Yeah.
a complete edition on disc. I'm like, you fuckers.
Yes. I miss Game of the Year editions. I miss complete editions, like where all the DLC was preloaded on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like actually it is funny because it like when they announced Sonic Frontiers, that was like a few months after I had actually become a Sonic fan, and it just felt like they took everything I liked about the franchise and compiled it into a single game. So I'm looking around my apartment. It's like, hey Sega, where did you put the camera? So if Sega is still spying on me, gee, I would really like it if there was a Sonic Frontiers Game of the Year edition or complete edition or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, I just got the news. Sonic
But
Frontiers Game of the Year edition. Here we come. It's announced.
but no, like I got Sonic Frontiers on Steam, and I'll probably be getting Kingdom Hearts 4 on Steam. I actually might be getting a Steam Deck. Like
Nice.
a friend of mine told me that not it's not like stuff like the Portal where you can just install games to it
Yep.
and then put it in airplane mode and not be forced to update anything. The Steam Deck might I'm thinking about getting a Steam Deck, especially because it is hilarious that my journey in the Kingdom Hearts series started out on a handheld, the PSP, and it might end on another handheld, the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Like it all comes full circle.
No, dude, I definitely recommend the Steam Deck. Like 100%. It's one of the best purchases I've made like in a long time.
I will say this, and again, I know it took me forever to eventually play Daxter, but I do find it amazing that and maybe this is why, like on top of everything else I've said about it, why PSP is my favorite console. But my top two favorite franchises are Kingdom Hearts and Jak and Daxter, and both series got phenomenal entries on the PSP that I can play nonstop if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just amazing to me.
Yeah, that's another. The reason I liked the PSP so much is, as I said, like you could have PS2 games. Like obviously they're fucking there's consolations made, but you can have PS2 games on in the palm of your hand. They sold that. They sold it as that, and I think they lived up to that. And yeah, I don't think like the library for PSP just speaks to me way more than any other handheld's library, and it makes me really sad that the Vita didn't have the same amount of love and care like put into it. And I would.
Here's the funny thing about here's the funny thing about the Vita. It's like there were great games. Like I'm looking at my Vita collection right now, because they're right next to my PSP collection. It's like you got Gravity Rush, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Killzone Mercenaries, Resistance, Burning Skies, Little Big Planet, Touch My Katamari, Persona 4, and I've got the Rayman games on Vita. There's a lot of great stuff on the Vita. It's just the fact that 70% of the library was fucking visual novels.
Yeah.
It'd be like if the DS was 70% Phoenix Wright games. I'm sure a lot of people would still be happy, but it would have not been the massive success that the DS was without every other type of game out there.
So I would love if Sony made a standalone handheld again. I think those days are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a fucking PS6 handheld. Fine. No real interest. I have a Steam Deck. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
honestly, I'm also running out of interest in the PS5 just because, like, okay, what do you think about exclusives? Because I argue exclusives are important,
I've been wanting to
like
do
to
this as a
give
video.
a plat.
I'm not a fanboy,
Oh
right?
boy.
I'm far from a fucking fanboy, and forgive me for going on a rant here. I think it is this. It's purely money. They are trading their brand value and their brand image for money. They're trading their brand
Mhm.
prestige for money, and I think they have done so much damage to their brand by putting their games on PC that it's gonna be irreparable. Because why the fuck are you gonna buy a PS6 if you're just gonna port into all the games you're buying the PS6 for to PC anyway?
Well, here, little devil's advocate argument here. I fully agree with what you're saying, and I have other things to bring up. But the problem is in the day and age where like discs, like PlayStation discs, are either half the game or just a glorified download code. What is really the point in buying them on console anymore when you just have to download the rest of it anyway?
That's a fair point
So like if
if you're a physical collector, absolutely. I agree completely. But even like even if you still were buying the box just for the games and you didn't really care about physical stuff, if there's only one place you can play that game, you're gonna buy the box for it if you're interested in the game enough. But if you know they're gonna port it
Mhm.
to PC anyway, you're not gonna buy the box. Or at least I wouldn't anyway.
I the way I look at it is that like exclusives are important because they give the platform its personality. They
Yes.
like Retrobird even made this point that for the longest time, an exclusive game would be like the signal to the third party devs. This is the type of game you make on this platform, and it's what gives the platform its personality. Like it emphasizes what it does best and gives developers sort of like a point of reference to like focus on and like try to be as creative as possible.
Absolutely.
Whereas like and I mentioned before about how I go for Gen 6 multi plats on original Xbox because there isn't a whole ton of exclusives on the original Xbox. Like I'm looking at my collection here, and we've got Halo, Brute Force, Fable. You got the Sega exclusives like Panzer Dragoon and Shenmue, um, and then PC to console exclusives. Painkiller, Advent Rising, and Serious Sam, but that's about it.
Hmm.
Everything else I have on Xbox is just a third party game.
Yeah. Um it's the power. I just want to like kind of hammer this point home. Like, you want to know the power of exclusives is Nintendo are the only ones still doing it the old school way, really, where you cannot get those
Uh huh.
games anywhere else. And I have been, you know how many times I've been tempted to fucking buy a Switch 2 to play that fucking Donkey Kong game because you can't get it anywhere else. That's the power of exclusives.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years buy a
Yes.
fucking
Eh,
Xbox. What's the point? There's not in there. I can play anything I want on PSP. Sony's nearly there as well.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just my rant.
The argument.
In response whenever I say exclusives are important is it's basically a not develop a publisher or a platform holding a game for ransom. It's like you're not letting as many people as possible play this amazing game, but then like this was something that like I wanted to do a short about this, but I just didn't have the software to edit it at the same time. But I was thinking about this when I was playing White Knight Chronicles. It it's basically Sony's equivalent to the Xenoblade series from Nintendo, although White Knight actually came out first, 2009 versus 2012. But so like what I was thinking of, and this is why I genuinely like um, exclusives and people playing on different platforms. It's like just imagine like someone playing Xenoblade for the first time. They calling up a friend. It's like, dude, you got to come check this game out. Comes over, sees the game, like, wow, that's really cool. You know, this actually reminds me of something I played on my PS3. Really? Yeah, come on over. Then they go to his house, check out White Knight Chronicles. It's like, dude, this is awesome, and it's just like Xenoblade. Can I play? Sure, as long as I get to play Xenoblade next time we're at your house. It's like you've got like the differences, but also similarities that make that like inspire conversation. It's like if everyone just had the exact same games, then what would really be the point?
Yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent. But PSP,
And
PSP was it. Yes, PSP is my favorite handheld of all time, like bar none.
oh yeah,
But yeah,
like
and
it
sorry, the Discord delay
it
today. I
was,
don't know what's going on with it. It's crazy.
but yeah, no, the PSP just means a whole lot to me. Like it was the first console I bought strictly for myself and just started playing on it. Again, like I mostly just played Kingdom Hearts and God of War on it, and I would have loved stuff like Daxter and Ape Escape and Ratchet and Clank on it. It's just, but the fact that I'm still able to enjoy these games that I only discovered later in life, um, it's one of those things I'm kind like people look at me sideways when I talk about this, but it's one of my proudest like accomplishments as a gamer. It's like I am still fully capable of enjoying older content, even if it quote unquote hasn't aged well, because like I'm able to put myself in the mindset of playing it for the first time ever because I am playing it for the first time ever. Like I play perfect example. I played Sonic Adventure 1 on the Dreamcast. I know a lot of people say that like I will say this, the GameCube version, though it is probably easier to find, is a lot glitchier and less functional than the Dreamcast original. So if you're going to play it at all, play it on Dreamcast. But
Yeah.
I played it for the first time 4 years ago. I knew of its reputation. I know that there are like so many like staunch defenders and also like extreme haters of the game, but I ended up like loving the game. Like I just kind of sat down, like I sat on the floor, by the way. Like I played it on Dreamcast on a nice fat CRT, and I just put myself in the mindset of someone playing it for the first time because I was playing it for the first time. And yeah, there were problems, but I still enjoyed it. Like like I don't see how being able to experience something for the first time, even if it has a reputation, like devalues anyone's ability to enjoy it. Like,
No, 100%.
like
No, I completely agree. People see old stuff as bad, and I think that's completely retarded.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said it better than I ever could. Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, I'm just looking at my collection, like Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, Ape Escape, Ratchet and Clank, the Mega Man games on PSP, Monster Hunter. And again, I'm just gonna repeat myself here, just because I just wanted to emphasize this. It's like on my top two franchises, Kingdom Hearts and Jack and Daxter, got two fantastic games on the PSP. That's all the excuse I would have ever needed.
Yep. I'm same here. Ratchet and Jack for me got representation on the PSP. That was around the time I thought there was gonna be sequels on the PS3. That didn't
Mm.
pan out. Well, Ratchet did. Jack didn't. But I don't want to end this on a salty note. PSP was awesome. Go play some PSP
Abso-freaking-lutely.
games. Come on, enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Any final words, Mister Nerd Rage?
I'm going to say in my upcoming video for gaming regrets, don't make the same mistake I did. If you have a PSP in 2025 or at any point, play Daxter
Mm-hmm.
and Ape Escape and Ratchet and Clank and Kingdom Hearts and God of War. Basically, if you think like if you are even slightly interested in playing the PSP, go for it. Like don't think twice about it. Don't try to look up the general consensus online. It's like, "Oh, but what do the professionals think?" Just try it. If you are even slightly interested, you're definitely going to like it.
Absolutely. And look, if you're having trouble finding a PSP, there's a lovely world of sailing the seas out there. So good luck with that. Yeah. Well, thanks, Mister Nerdrage. And you plug yourself there. Plug your channel. Send people to your channel.
NerdRage36. I started it years ago. Started it for all the wrong reasons, and now I'm just ripping off Alpha Omega Sin.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to see the trend on YouTube of people just talking to a camera coming back. Non-edited videos, just people sitting down talking about shit.
Oh, like I keep saying that in my videos. It's like I think a lot of people are missing the old school era of YouTube. Like if I could do just a little more editing, I'd probably start doing those old school countdowns, like
hmm,
top 10 boss fights in all of gaming.
yeah. Yeah. I actually had that thought when I woke up today because like I'm for some reason I'm back. I've just got this YouTube spark back. I've just been wanting to upload and make stuff. And I thought
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hot thing of I don't know if I'm ever gonna do it. Just for people that made it to the end here, I'm thinking of doing the top tens as well. I'm thinking of doing
Nice.
top 10 Jack videos and top 10 Jack characters, top 10 Jack levels, things like that, just to get the ball rolling. Don't know if it's ever gonna come to fruition, but yeah, like you said, I have in mind those old school kind of countdowns. More the screw attack ones that I mentioned earlier, but
Mm.
yeah,
It is fun to just like sit down and talk.
it
And
is.
like I said, the whole I work at a car factory. My life is not that amazing, but I'm still able to enjoy every other moment, and this is part of it.
Exactly. Don't fall into the trap of making work your life.
Exactly.
So you like get a job you don't care about too much, and then enjoy everything outside of it, and fucking there you go, living the dream.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Michael. Any final words before I stop recording?
Uh, blarg.
Blurg. Oh,
Oh wait, no,
Snagglebeast.
no, no.
Oh,
Oh wait, no, I got a better one. Gulatoria.
I don't even get that reference, but it sounded cool. No, no.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
I got one. I got one.